when you receive the recording equipment, it will come in a black Pelican case, and what will be inside is this desktop tripod that's flexible. You can adjust it, an AC power adapter, a cable that connects this to the unit, and then there will be two cables that will connect the recorder directly to your computer. One will be a USB-C to USB-C, and I don't have it here, but there will be a USB-C to USB-A, so hopefully that will cover whether you have either a Mac or a PC or an older Mac that has that kind of a connector. I'm going to, so you can power it. It has batteries in the recorder, but it's best if you power it separately, just so you don't risk running out of batteries. And you can either connect it to a wall socket with the AC adapter, or as I'm going to do today, I'm going to connect it directly to my MacBook Pro with the USB-C connector. And it will serve both to power the recorder, and later it can also be used to transfer the files and upload them. Now, this tripod has two connectors. I've already attached the bottom part of it, so it just, and I hope you can see this, it just slides in like so. And then in terms of positioning, and I'll get into starting it up and all of that. If you're right-handed, and depending on how you're looking at your screen, but if you're, I won't be able to demonstrate this left-handed because I'm right-handed, but if I were doing this, my screen's in front of me, as you can see, keyboard here. This is about the distance and the position that you want the microphones to be. Is no closer than this, because then you'll start to pop your P's and we'll hear those. And you don't want to talk directly into them for the same reason. Best just to angle it a little bit to the side, so that you can talk across it, and we won't get those plosives. And it should still free you up to operate your keyboard and your mouse as you need to. So I'm going to plug this other side in here. I'm going to disconnect it so I can, hopefully you can see what's going on here. The power button is here on the side. Just hold it down one way, and it's going to power on after just a second. And there's two ways of operating this. I'm going to set the level, help you set the level, and then you should be able to just leave it alone. You can either do it right here on the machine, or I'm going to show you both ways. I prefer to use there's an app for both Android and iOS, and it's very simple to use. But just so you have an understanding of what this recorder is doing, you can see that it's measuring the sensitivity of my voice as I talk. And so you don't want those rings to become orange or red. We're going to aim to keep them in the green, and that will give us a good clean recording. The only buttons you're going to need to be worried about when you're recording are record and home. Don't use the pause button. All it's going to do is put markers in, and once you start the recording, just let it run, unless you're going to take a break for a period of time to get something to eat, or a snack, or bathroom break. Just let it record. It's too easy to forget to start recording again if you pause a recording, so best just to turn it on and let it go. Now, when this is engaged in here, it is a little bit tricky to see what that screen is doing, and that's why the iOS app might work. But if I were to tip this down, the recording button on the end is the one that's in counterclockwise is going to increase, and clockwise is going, clockwise will increase the level, counterclockwise will decrease the level. And so we're aiming for this to not go into the red. So if I sort of emulate that position right about here, you can see that that's probably now starting to go into the red, and that's way too hot. Now, a much easier way to go about this is with the iOS app. So I'm going to just, I've already downloaded this here, so I'll just start it up real quickly. You have to make sure that, after you've downloaded the app, just make sure that your iOS device is ready for Bluetooth. I'm going to connect the device here, and now it's seeing the same thing that we're seeing on the recorder. So I'm just going to flip this back around and get it into the position I want it for recording, which again is about here. And to the best of your ability, as you're recording, avoid moving your head side to side, and try to stay that constant distance. If you need to stop and reposition, fine. Just don't do it while you're talking into it. Now, as you can see here, I can set the levels by pushing the center button, and I can slide that up or down, and you can see now, hopefully, how as I take that up, that's too high, and we're going to have some potential distortion. So just talking in the normal voice, it's okay if it goes into the yellow, now and then with real loud sounds, but I'm seeing on here that my level is plus 37.5 decibels. So that's probably a safe position to be in. Now you can leave this on, your iPhone on, or you can, now that you've got the level set, just start and stop on the machine, whichever is most convenient. But all we need to do now to start the recording is hit the red button. You'll see the numbers start moving up, and they'll be in red, and you'll be able to see that less well on the screen. That's the advantage of having the app going. There is a red button on the bottom that indicates it's recording. The blue button is the Bluetooth connection. So I'm just going to watch my iPhone here, and now is when you can just go along and record. We'll do a test recording. You can send it, and we'll make sure that the levels are all correct. Okay, so this is timing as we go along. Again, if you need this to stop for a period of time, just and here it's just a square button, and now you see that the numbers are no longer red, so we're no longer recording. It doesn't matter how many files, so each time we stop, we're creating a new file, a new digital file that will be stored on the device that will later transfer. Doesn't matter how many of them there are. They're identified by the date, the year, the month, and the day, and then the number of recordings so far. So we'll be able to track the recordings that way. So just leave the recorder on unless you're taking a break, and then again it's just the red button to start recording, the square button to stop recording. Those are really the only ones you need to be concerned about. So now in the end, when we're done, and I'll send you an upload link that will come in an email from Synology. I think it's called C2 Transfer, but it'll be obvious. It'll be just a link that you can upload the files to. And so now, in order to, let me just give you, hopefully you can see that okay. In order to connect this now to the computer, right now it's getting its power from the computer, but we haven't yet told it to connect to the computer in a way that we can access the files. In order to do that, the bottom left is, sorry about that, is a menu button, and on the menu button we're going to go to General Settings, and then we're going to slide up or down here, look for Other Settings, and then we slide down a little bit and there will be SD card reader. We're just going to click on that and you'll see the USB sign, and then momentarily this device will show up on your desktop screen as a portable hard drive, and it's going to be called X6. When you open that drive up, there are only, you know, 3 folders in there. The folder you're looking for is called sound. So when you open the sound folder, you're going to look for all of the WAV files. There's another set of files that are, I think they're considered the way it creates the backup versions or something, I'm not sure. But the WAV files, the ones ending in .wav, are the audio files, and they're the ones that you're going to want to grab. And you can do it from that link. When that link that I send you prompts you to open the files, you can copy them directly from, you know, this device. You don't have to transfer them to your computer first. So, because they're going to be big files, so you don't need to take up space. Just make sure it's connected as a USB connected SD reader, and then you'll be able to navigate to those files, click on those, and those will upload, and I'll get an email that they're ready to go. Now, one last thing. You wanted to know about recording PowerPoint. I'm recording into PowerPoint, and I'm not sure how well you're able to see this on my screen. But all you need to do is open your PowerPoint file up, and however you're going to project it. But at the top, you know, along one of these toolbars will be well, you may first have to go to slideshow if you're not already there. So go on slideshow, and then there's an option below for record slideshow. And when you click on record slideshow, it's going to automatically start recording, and by default I presume it will use the microphone in your laptop. So you'll be able to see that it's counting. You can change slides, and just, you know, this is where it drops out when you change slides. But again, we're using this more as a reference. Worst case, it could be a backup, but you know, that's not the intention. It's really a reference so I can resynchronize the slides with the edited audio. And then when you're done, there's just a pause button here, and then you'll need to be sure you save the file, because then it will save it with the audio embedded in it. So you may want to make a duplicate of that presentation first before you modify it with the recording, but I'll leave that up to you. And hope this was helpful.